Counter Logic Gaming is the upper card. I think this is a must-win for them. If they lose, obviously they're out, but more importantly, I think it's a statement game.
I do think that Nocturnes is a formidable opponent, so I don't think that it would be a horrible surprise to see them look good in this set, but it would surprise me if Nocturnes is able to take a game.
I think that CLG and execution has the advantage here on Nocturnes.
4 teams will be going home, and unfortunately, one of those has to be one of these strong squads. CLG up against Nocturnes, totally. This should be a good one. Going to Lover in a lot of trouble. The passive has been procced, but can they find the autos? Jigz should be able to grab it, gives it over to Snoopy. That's your respawn first blood for CLG. Titan should be the focus as CLG pull back.
Snoopy playing a little bit too aggressive the same way he was in the beginning of the game, but in a 5-on-3, this is CLG's game to win.
It absolutely is. CLG gonna get it done here in game 1. Nocturnes cannot quite hold them off.
My first tournament experience was a very rough one, but luckily it was a very small tournament. It wasn't a very big deal at all, but I was so nervous, I was shaking. People had cameras up in my face, I couldn't concentrate. I had just gotten thrown into this team because they made a desperate roster swap. I did really badly, but it really helped me to shake off my nerves for my next LAN, which ended up being a very, very big, important one.
Game number 2, their backs against the walls, an elimination match for Nocturnes, and certainly a chance to be dropped out of the tournament. Jigz looking good too, and now more aggression from CLG. The knockup gets there on the back end of the taunt, but they're going to fight through the Suns. Nocturnes trying to answer back by just kind of grouping up and forcing down this tier 1, and they're able to grab it.
Good disengage from CLG, protecting the life from Jigz and killing out Daylon at the same time. This is the true elite caliber performance you're expecting from a North American SPL team, to constantly do a little bait and switch with the Gold Fury. You could just feel the tension between both of these teams. CLG doesn't want to mess up. They know that this is their time to shine, honestly. The Titan is at its most vulnerable form. CLG regrouping to get the sustain off from Jigz.
Titan being shredded, already down now to half HP. Final K zoning everyone out, and that's all it takes. CLG 2-0 over Nocturnes.
And I think CLG has the potential to, climb that a little bit further here with how clean they were towards the ending of game number 1 and 2. Final K was really disruptive towards the end of game 2.
We're really just taking it like one game at a time. Yesterday was a little bit disappointing for us because we started out so strong. I think we got a little bit lost in the LAN meta, and we used today as kind of like an experimental day to mess around with some stuff.
You will face off the winner of Trifecta versus SK. Who would you rather face and why?
It's a hard call on who we want to play because we know Trifecta really well since we played them all year, and the element of surprise is can be pretty overwhelming at LAN when going against SK, but yeah, I don't know. I think Trifecta's a little bit better, but we know them better, so it's a hard call.
I've played games with Connor since about 6th grade. He initially got me into World of Warcraft. I had never played anything like that before. It was the first multiplayer game I ever played. I played with Connor. I remember we were on actual telephones in 6th grade talking to each other while playing games, trying to level up our characters. Connor was always very competitive. I remember the first time we started playing Smite, he just carried me through every game we played. He types really fast. He has a ridiculous number of words per minute. And beyond that, he's very motivated. He will keep playing anything until he's really, really good at it.
So how's school going?
I have to go full-time. If for a lot of the classes that I have left, I'm gonna have to hold off until I can do it full-time.
Any idea when you're gonna go full-time?
I'm not sure. It's gonna be between seasons sometime, so it's gonna be after one of the World Championships. I'm not really sure yet when I want to do it.
Coming up next is going to be CLG versus the red, white, and blue Trifecta. The winner of that will face off against Mouse Sports, the loser, heading home.
This is a rematch, essentially, though. When you look at the end of the fall split, when CLG and Trifecta were originally tied for seeding coming into the placements rounds, Trifecta were the ones who actually ended up swooping that one away from CLG. So now it's actually a very open opportunity here for CLG to get some redemption against Trifecta.
We have transitioned now into the lower bracket. Earlier we were talking about teams with a chance to make it to DreamHack. Now totally the narrative has shifted. These teams are playing not to be sent home.
2 for 1, favoring CLG, getting the objective and 2 kills. Great start for CLG.
All up into the Tycho drums, but there's the Crips. It's ripping through Trifecta. Heroin finds the double, taking down Sam for Soccer and Paul. Snoopy gets Scary D, a nightmare for Trifecta.
It's only Zatman left alive, trying to survive. It's gonna be a decided CLG take game 1.
Now Trifecta with their tournament lives on the line back against the wall.
That's a good one to keep, the 3 6s.
Yeah.
I think he's got it figured out.
I know that much.
I think he's got it figured out.
No, not really, but I'm not that dumb.
Did I tell you what he told me after anatomy last semester? He said that the professor told him that they couldn't learn every bone in the human body in one night. And he took that as a personal challenge.
Do it overnight.
So
Yeah. And said, guess what? You can.
Some people can.
CLG versus Trifecta, we're on the bottom side. So these teams will not be going to DreamHack immediately. They have to win an additional time after the fact. But the loser does go home.
Trifecta up against CLG, a potential elimination game for Trifecta, were they to drop it, and CLG a chance to move on up against Mouse.
It's going to be a difficult match for either of these two teams.
Yeah.
Mouse looked very strong against Obey Alliance in their previous set. Trifecta looking like they're getting closer and closer to getting to that end-game form, but they haven't really got the momentum they need to start dominating in the sense of the Fire Giants. And I don't see how Final K and Herwin can really defend this. They have to figure out the Phoenix defense, but Trifecta are barreling down the left side and the right side. Mask, Jigz, and Snoopy dead for still a long time. Trifecta are just dominating in 26 minutes of play, trying to figure out the right way to close this out to extend the series into a game 3. And if you're CLG, you got to be questioning about how they started off this game. The transition was very weird considering game number 1 was just so clean and methodical.
Trifecta 5-member strong, only 2 up from CLG to try and defend. Herwin, he's pretty good at Smite, but not this good. Trifecta take game 2, they take down the Titan, and we're on our way to a game 3.
A good turnaround play. Game number 3, here we come.
I think anytime you play, everybody wants to win, but I don't remember him being the super competitive kid.
I was definitely always really competitive as a kid. As far as video games went, I wouldn't necessarily be like really mad if I lost, but I would definitely feel in the back of my mind like, wow, I really want to get better and always win. When I was a kid, I definitely was not like winning everything, so I don't think there was ever a point where it was just like, oh, we don't want to play with Connor because he wins everything, because I was definitely not winning everything. Do you know these maps?
No, it's been so long.
One's as bad as the other.
The hardest one?
The old Mario Kart on the...
This is the old Mario Kart, Mom.
No, I mean like the old Mario Kart on the N64.
Oh, the 64.
That was easier.
I'll just wait.
You're just going to chill for a little while?
As usual.
Just wait till you're finished.
Yeah, you got time to take a nap before that happens.
Loser goes home and the winner goes on to face Mouse Sports. CLG up against Trifecta. The game 3 with it all on the line between 2 of North America's last few hopes. It's going to be scary for CLG. But the pace a bit slow here at the start. Remember, this could potentially be it for either one of these teams. So no big surprise, really, that they're being cautious. CLG, their chances getting better by the second. They want this tier 2 tower in mid. It'll be their first one of the game just before the 20-minute mark, and now Trifecta are here to defend. That'll force them over to the dual lane instead. Sam removes Herwin from the equation. Snoopy is still standing tall at this point, but it's actually a 4v3 in Trifecta's favor. Samprasoccer uses the knockup, but Mask wants to find the opposing jungler, but no one helped Snoopy in the back. Snoopy, who's the target, Aegis comes out early, and Samprasoccer is right there with him. Valkyrie's discretion gets him up out of combat, but it's just not enough. Paul finds Mass. That man gets Snoopy. Hurry answers back, but it's 2 for 1.
2 for 1 is good thus far. CLG gonna need to find a way to play the way they did in game number 1.